Hi there, I'm Councilmember Evan Glass, and I want to welcome you to this community conversation. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Theresa Impasto, who is the Chief Safety Officer for WMATA, which you might know runs and operates our Metro Rail and our Metro buses all throughout the DMV. Theresa, good to see you.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you as well.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us about transit in the region. So give us an update on what the state of the Metro Rail and Metro buses are. I know that ridership has dropped precipitously, and so can you give us an update?
Absolutely. So we're currently operating a modified schedule during our phase 3 of our pandemic response. Our rail ridership has dropped approximately 95% from this time last year.
95%.
95%. Our bus ridership has dropped approximately 75% from this time last year, all of which is a good thing. The depressed levels of ridership are enabling us to continue to provide service and accommodate our passengers' need for social distancing.
Yeah, so I think the 95% and 75% drops between Metro Rail and Metro Bus are interesting because it shows that there's different need and dynamic even within that space. What do you think constitutes those differences? While still very large, clearly there are more people who are dependent on the Metro Bus, and I presume that's socioeconomic and regional demand.
Absolutely. So there are a number of factors that intersect in terms of the demand for ridership and services. Some of the communities that are serviced by our bus routes have a large percentage of essential workers in those communities. Those communities are also transit dependent. So we recognize the need to continue to provide bus service. Our rail service has slightly different, slightly more elastic ridership demands. A lot of our rail passengers are members of the federal workforce and have been placed on telework indefinitely.
Right. And here in Montgomery County, we've begun issuing face masks for individuals who are riding. Now, Governor Hogan has already instituted that riders be required to wear face masks, but we're offering them in case they don't have or need a new one. What other types of safety measures are being undertaken within the WMATA system?
So we are also encouraging all of our riders to follow the CDC guidance for cloth face coverings. We're also, we've instituted rear door boarding to protect our bus drivers. So our passengers are boarding from the rear of the bus to provide adequate distance. We're limiting the number of individuals that our buses have. We don't have a hard, fast number, but our bus drivers have been given discretion to bypass stops if serving the stop would limit or otherwise impinge upon their ability to maintain appropriate social distancing to protect themselves and their passengers. On the rail side, we've also closed the first and eighth cars of our train consists in order to afford some additional protections to our rail operators. Our station managers are permitted to stay inside the kiosks. And in the event that our employees are interacting with the public, we have provided them all facial coverings, as well as we've stepped up our cleaning and sanitation procedures. You should actually see that actively throughout the system now.
Sure. All of that makes sense, and we have to do what we have right now. But looking forward to when the stay-at-home orders are lifted and life returns back to normal, whatever that new normal might be, clearly people still will have to get into the District of Columbia and around the region, and so many people rely on Metro Rail and Metro Bus. What efforts are you thinking about already to instill confidence in people to get them back on when they have to get back on?
Absolutely. In tandem with the implementation of the mitigations to reduce our service, we started the planning process for restoration. So we've been actively planning for a return to service since we started limiting the service that we're providing. What we're currently evaluating are ensuring that we're able to exceed the demand in the managed reentry to our daily commutes. We're looking at ways in which we can enhance the customer experience to become more contactless. We're looking at ways of deploying new and innovative technologies and looking at really the cutting edge of cleaning and sanitation procedures so that we can further ensure a safe operating environment for our customers. We developed an innovation team that we've referred to as I-Team that is tasked with exploring and examining ways that we can increase the level of safety in what will be our new normal while still maintaining the level of customer service that folks have come to expect from Metro.
Are there any systems around the world or in the United States that currently employ those types of safety mechanisms, things that we can look to?
So we've been benchmarking domestically and internationally. We've been looking at some of the novel applications of sanitizing agents as well as the use of technology that's been employed in some Asian mass transit systems, and we're evaluating them for potential applicability domestically. We've also been working through APTA and other sister agencies to continuously evaluate the actions that we've employed and what they've employed to determine success and potential avenues for further exploration.
And because some of the Asian countries have a longer track record of dealing with these types of viruses, quite frankly, what types of lessons can you glean from their operations and the dips in ridership when these pandemics are hot, quite frankly? What's the trickle back into these systems?
So the one thing that we've learned with our international benchmarking is that the return to service needs to be metered and phased.
So what does that mean, metered and phased?
It needs to be a controlled return, a gradual return that has significant milestones based upon H1N1 outbreaks, the SARS outbreaks, other types of virulent pandemics. One lesson that we can learn from international agencies is it's not as simple as an immediate restoration to service like you would come to expect for a severe weather event. We need to balance the need to protect the human capital of our workforce with the need to provide a safe operating environment for our customers. And a full restoration of service in those prior events had detrimental impacts to secondary and tertiary disease peaks and further outbreak, which has informed subsequent responses moving on, all of which we're really actively considering in our service patterns.
What kind of on-ramp, to use that metaphor, would it take to get us back up to a normal standard of operation?
So we're looking at approximately 2 to 3 months. And
that would be after the order is lifted or when people start returning back to their jobs?
That would be 2 to 3 months from the time at which we believe it's safe to return to full service. The service wouldn't start up overnight. We'd have to prioritize making sure we're ahead of the curve for demand. So we anticipate continued suppressed ridership even after some of the stay-at-home orders have been lifted. So we're looking at returning portions of the service as it becomes appropriate and in advance of the demand. We are working with the region, working with jurisdictions within the region to anticipate the timeliness of our ability to provide service, balancing some of the concerns that we'll have with workforce availability.
Well, and you talked about the regional nature of the work, and so here in Montgomery County, we have the ride-on service. In Prince George's, they have the bus and other regional bus services as well, including MARC. What is the coordination between all of those different governments and different agencies been?
So one thing that's really been remarkable in my Metro experience thus far has been the degree to which the region has collaborated. We are in near constant communication with stakeholders, as well as our passengers. The board represents a number of the jurisdictions in which we operate, and we've regularly gathered to share information and offer progress updates on both our responsiveness and to work together to plan our recovery.
Well, that's really good to hear about collaboration, because it is key to making our region run smoothly during normal times. And clearly in times of crisis, we want to be talking about best practices to making sure that everybody is safe, because all they have to do is hop on a metro, hop on a bus, and you are within minutes in another jurisdiction, which is what we love about our community, but also sometimes poses regulatory hurdles to doing this work. So Theresa, I want to thank you for taking time out of your work to speak with me and to everybody else. Are there any other things that you'd like to share with us at the end of this conversation?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I would like to express my sincere and heartfelt gratitude for the support of the Metro workforce. Our employees have just been consistently around the clock going above and beyond to continue to provide the essential service. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't express gratitude to our supporters and our riders, who've really been an integral part in flattening the curve, staying at home, observing the stay-at-home orders, and really enabling us to continue to provide the essential services that we provide. We really appreciate that folks have stayed away, and we're working hard to be ready for you when it's safe for you to return.
Well, I want to not only echo, but double down on those sentiments and give my heartfelt thank you to all the employees within the WMATA system and all of our public transportation agencies and departments. They are essential personnel who are moving our essential personnel, whether folks are coming from home to go to stock our grocery stores, or be in the retail sector, or even going to our healthcare networks and going to our hospitals. The 25% and 5% respectively of people who are taking the bus and the metro rail are doing it because they have to work. They're being either required to, or just for their own livelihoods. And we need to make sure that our systems are operating safely for them, and making sure that everybody feels healthy and secure while not only operating our systems, but taking our systems too. So, I will continue my collaboration with you and the board as well to make sure that once these orders are lifted and life returns back to normal, whatever that new normal might be, we will have a safe, functioning public transportation system where people will not fear the risk of their own health or anyone else's, and where we can lessen dependence on single occupancy vehicles, improve our environment, and also build transit-oriented development, all goals that I know many of us share. So Theresa, thank you again for all the work that you and your colleagues are doing. And to everybody, thank you for listening to this conversation, another community conversation that I'm having. And so in the meantime, I hope everybody is safe and healthy while at home, or if you are an essential personnel, I want to thank you for conducting your work on behalf of everybody, making sure that we are healthy and safe. So thank you very much, everybody.